Hi, and welcome to Teach Me School Stuff. In this particular video, we're going to take a look at how to use Adobe Spark in order to create graphics, such as, for example, a playbill. So in this case, we're looking at something that would serve as a playbill for a performance of Romeo and Juliet. We have a cover page and be the sort of thing that would appear as a several page, in this case, about a 7-page pamphlet. And then we have the dramatis personae, the cast list, um, a summary of the plot or the prologue of the play, and then a little synopsis of each of the main actors and so on. I've just kind of put this together as a demo for some of my own students. So now, one of the first questions, of course, would be, what would make Adobe Spark the right choice for me to use for this? And I don't work for Adobe or anything like that. It's just that I've used it and I found it very effective. I've had students use it, and the quality of work that they produce with it is truly excellent, and it's so easy to use. I could perhaps build pages like this in some other program, maybe Google Docs or Google Slides or something like that. I could draw shapes and fill them with images and things like that, but it's really awkward and just not so super easy to use. Whereas Adobe Spark comes with a whole variety, a whole slew of templates that you just drop in your text, drop in your images, and then you can change the formats, you can change the layouts, the templates, and everything just looks very homogeneous, I suppose. So let's consider some of the other assignments you might use for this. If you have a school play and you need to make a poster, then this would be a perfect tool for that. If you want to create a flyer advertising an event, any advertising material within Adobe Spark, they promote making your own brand and promoting yourself that way using Adobe Spark Graphic. It could be a science project in which you have to discuss mitosis and create a several-page document about the various stages of mitosis. Perhaps it's a geography or world history assignment where you have to present material from either of those courses in hopefully a very visually interesting way. So it can serve across all sorts of different subjects, and that's also why I think it's a pretty useful tool to have. So let's get into using Adobe Spark. The first thing is Adobe Spark is free for educators and students probably across the better part of North America. And if you don't have access to it for free, the cost of subscribing to it is fairly minimal. It's I think it's only about $10 a month or something like that. So once I've logged in using my school email address, I get to the Spark homepage. And within the Spark homepage, you see there's a variety of different types of products that you can choose to make. Now, as this is an entry-level video I'm putting together here, one of the things you might sort of wonder is, like, what's the difference between a collage, which is a graphic, and an Instagram post, which is a graphic? And there's even custom size, which is a graphic. Technically, they're all the same tool. It's just that within collage, it's going to have a certain number of templates that are already established for the idea of making a collage. If you choose Instagram post, then the format is going to be suited to the shape and size of Instagram images and so on and so forth. So a collage graphic, Instagram post graphic, all of those are the same thing. And in fact, when you create one, the product is called a post. And if you choose it from the drop down, it's called a flyer. So there's many names for really the same thing, which I might suggest to Adobe Spark is a bit confusing, but really you're making the same thing. Generally, I just like to make things from scratch anyway and forget some of the standard template shapes. Some of the other options here that might be useful to know about, slideshow is creating pretty much just what it sounds like. You use Adobe Spark Video to create a slideshow in which you drop in a bunch of pictures, you can add narration, you can put music to it. It's like a very light version of something like iMovie. Presentation is really kind of like the highest level of product within Adobe Spark. You're taking all sorts of different kinds of content. So you could take some of the slideshows you made and embed them into a web page or a presentation. They're the same product. You could take your collages and your individual image graphics that you've made and also put those into your web page. Within web page, you can also add YouTube links and embed other videos as well. So that's got a lot more going on and something that would have to be covered in a more advanced video tutorial. For the purpose of something like the project I showed you, I just went straight to this option here and I chose flyer because that's pretty much the dimensions of the kind of product I want to make. Now I have down here a variety of different templates that I can use as starting points for my project. So let me just pick this one here and create the project based on this template. Once you choose a template, the rest of the job is actually pretty easy. You just insert your own content. So here, the larger text, I'd probably put the title of my project, whatever it is. In this case, it's a playbill for Romeo and Juliet. So I'll type that in. And now it drops that in like that. And then I'll take this other text here, which for the purpose of a play might suggest where it's performing. Rose Theater. There we go, Rose Theater. And you might want to just stretch this a little bit just to get that date all together on one line, and then I can grab this. So you can take any of these boxes and move them around once they're dropped in place. So you have templates, but you're not stuck to the actual layout within those templates. And if you see that magenta colored dotted line run down the middle, that shows that that's centered. So it really helps with the layout that way. Another interesting tool, I'll just show you how it works, is once I have text inserted, if I'm not crazy about that font, there's a few interesting ways to affect that. One of them is go over here and click on Style, and this dial shows up. And if I just spin this around, it chooses, all sorts of different kinds of fonts that I could, that one's kind of nice. So you can, oh, where'd those flowers go? Wow, that's pretty far out. Okay, so there's another way to change the look of this particular template. So again, although it's template based, you can create some variety within the template by some of these other little tweaks over here. If I click off of this and choose design, what it does now is it offers me variations. So now it knows I've got one picture in the background and two text boxes. It's going to offer me variations based on that content. So that would be one. Oh, I just realized I need to put a picture in here, don't I? So I'm going to take this picture that's already there. That has nothing to do with Romeo and Juliet. And I want to put in a new picture. So I'm going to replace that. And you can find free photos. So let's just go look at the options of how to insert a photo from here. And this is really great because if you already work with Google Drive or Google Photos, Dropbox or something like that, all of those cloud-based storage spaces are available for you to put your content in. So if you plan ahead for a project like this, you've got all your content written in Google Docs and you have all your images saved in a folder on your Google Drive, then you can access all of that content directly through Adobe Spark. You don't have to download things onto your computer and then upload them back into this project the way you might have to with some other programs. Okay, so those are optional, but you can also find free photos. And the great thing about this is that any of the photos here are royalty free. So you can use them, you don't even have to worry about citing the sources. But let me just type in the word love and see what I come up with for Romeo and Juliet as a theme. And if I scroll down here, there's, I think, the flower I used in my original demo. So now that's what my playbill looks like. That actually looks pretty good. So I think I'm going to keep that. And in this case, I'm going to name it. Now, the problem I might have mentioned before is that you can't just create the entire playbill as one project. You have to create, if it's a several page project, you have to create them as individual posts. And then depending on how you are being asked to hand them in, you might put all those into one Google folder and submit a folder. Or another way to do it would be to create a Google Doc and insert image, and you have to download each of these as JPEGs, and then you could upload them into a Google Doc. So there is a bit of that you might have to do. But there is a workaround for sure. That's pretty easy. So in this case, I'll call it 1RJ. And as long as I remember what RJ stands for, I know that this is page 1. And that'll help me kind of remember what goes later. Now let me go back to the home here, and I'm going to make a new page for my playbill or my document. This time I'm going to pick a layout that has a specific number of cells. So here I want one where I'm going to put the actor here and then text underneath. So I click on that and I want to add a photo, and in this case I'm going to upload a photo. So I've done my work ahead of time and I've saved some photos of the various actors I want to use here, and I'm going to go to Michael Cera, pin to the background, and there we go. So I've got him in there. It's already zoomed out as far as it goes, but I could zoom it in for whatever reason on that scale I might want to. I can even rotate it depending on what I need to do with the image. And there's some other things I can do. I can flip it horizontal or vertical and so on. Okay, so now down here I could put my text. So I could add my own text, and you know, it's the sort of thing where it's probably a good idea to have all this written ahead of time as a Google Doc, because now I'm really just trying to write enough text that makes it look like I fill up this box. And there's all my text. And then I'm going to add one more text box for Romeo. What I do then? Add text. Add my text. And that's done. So there's my page for Romeo. There'd be a actor bio. I'd probably have something in there as well talking about the actor who plays him. Now let's go back to design and see, how does it look if I pick a different layout for this? That doesn't work so good. This one, not too bad. I can grab this piece and move it around, so maybe that works. That covers my text. So it would be a matter of finding a template that looks nice but also works effectively from a visual perspective. Now, once I've created a variety of pages, you would download each of those as JPEGs and then put them into some sort of common document. If you need to hand them in to a teacher, you can go to Share and choose Publish, and one of the options here would be to go straight to Google Classroom, or you could put these in other locations. So that's one of the things you can do there. And if this is a collaborative project, this is also pretty neat. I can click on this and I can invite other people to participate in the creation of this post. So if I've been given a partner to work with on a project, I might say, okay, well, for this one I'm going to do the layout, can you do the content, and then for the next one you can do the layout and I'll do the content, or whatever, or we'll trade things back and forth. What do you think? How does it look? And you can invite people in just the way you could collaborate on Google Docs as well when you share files. So that is how to create what are referred to as posts, but really they're kind of flyers, graphics, collages, that sort of thing, using Adobe Spark. I hope you find this video tutorial instructive and that at some point you get some good use out of this and make your projects look really slick. If you're a teacher and you're looking for an effective way for the students to create really good looking products at a very beginner level, I think the students will be pretty happy with the work that they do with this. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.